It's been quite an interesting week, a weekend of International Women's Day. Women's celebrating women, of course. Dr. C, we are celebrating you. Maria, we are celebrating you. How was your Women's Day? We start with you, ladies.
Start.
I might need a glass of wine.
We are sorry, madam. Please, let me
But
pour you.
before you pour yourself wine, tell us, how do you describe yourself, or how do you?
I am a winemaker. I am a powerful Kenyan woman making a difference. And when I am done and gone, you shall remember I walked this ground.
Hey,
Ooh, ooh.
go ahead.
Wow, that's strong.
Maria?
How do I describe myself? I'm passionate about life, and everything I do has to turn into gold. Anything I touch or do, it has to turn into gold. There's no excuse.
Okay.
Simon,
Hey.
are you turning things into gold?
No. First of all, nowadays anybody can identify as whatever. Yeah. But for me, I'm still a man. I'm not identifying as a woman. But I will point out the type of women that you actually deserve celebration on the International Women's Day. That's something we'll discuss. And we'll keep it right here on Let's Be Real. Simon, I'm here. See you. So we start with the first topic. What do you think?
You and your pink.
Today I'm demure.
But today you're demure. But wait, first of all, even before we begin, let me appreciate Dr. C by pouring out a glass of wine just quickly. Yeah, but since you said you're a woman of power.
So,
yes.
because you're describing women of power, we'll also like to go to the newsroom to sample what women are saying on the International Women's Day. Because I think they have a lot to say.
Hi, my name is Sarah Kamande. I'm a multimedia content producer. So what International Women's Day means to me, it's a day where we commemorate what women have been able to do in the society, in our world, challenges they've been able to go through and surpass them, and also to ensure that we have an equitable future in the days to come. That's what it means to me.
Hello everyone, my name is Auntie Milon. I am a content creator on TikTok. I want to wish every woman out there happy International Women's Day. The woman who inspires me, she's called Faduma Daib. She's the first Somali woman to run for presidential seat in Somalia.
Hi, my name is Eustace Segete. I'm a TV producer and a creative producer here at Standard. I'm also a TV host. And to the women out there that inspire me, my mom is definitely one of them because since day one, she has seen me through and through. Also, I look up to Janet Mbugua and Ellen Sirleaf, the very first president of Nigeria, who was actually even the very first African president. These three women speak a lot to my being and to everything that I have today.
Hello, my name is Purity Nelima. I'm a creative content producer here at Standard Group. The reason why it's important to celebrate International Women's Day, it's because it helps highlight the milestone that women have made in the society, and this in return helps encourage the next generation to know that they can also do it because they are learning from the other women leaders.
Hello everyone, my name is Fiona Biketi. I'm a TV producer, content creator, and a writer. On this International Women's Day, I celebrate the women who inspire me, my grandmother, my mother, and my niece. And to all the women out there, I wish you a happy Women's International Day.
It is 30 years since Beijing. 30 years since Nyiva Mwenda, 1995, went to Beijing. Remember, with her hairdressers and all that, and it was a furore. Yeah. And she was the only cabinet minister in President Moi's government that time. And they were going to discuss the women issues and how women should move forward. I do not know whether 30 years later we have achieved or the challenges remain the same.
So for me, I think so that there's a lot that has been achieved.
Yeah.
Actually, I went online and I asked our viewers to just go online and check what has been achieved, and AI will bring for you everything. In Kenya, I feel we have achieved quite a bit, from political representation to voting rights to women owning land to women getting that independence. But when we talk about Beijing and talking about Niva Mwendwa going with a team of her hairstylists, I remember at the time, that's what everyone, people were flabbergasted.
Yeah.
People were really flabbergasted. But now, thinking about it through the eyes of a businesswoman and through the eyes of the women in the creative sector, I think she was a woman ahead of her time. You know why I say that? Because I know the theme of this year's event is about accelerate. I didn't even quite read it and finalize, yeah? But I think she was ahead of her time because she actually elevated all these women creatives to a level, and realizing that actually the women in the creative arts sector, which I think it is one of those sectors that has been left behind, but yet we are like the cogwheel, You know, for a woman, like the hairdressers, and today, by the way, I said, I'm gonna get granular. I want you, the woman at home, to see how you actually fit into this thing. So today, when I was getting dressed, I said, today, I really wanna celebrate all the women hairstylists. The ones, you know, who sit and make these small, little, tiny things, and we're able to really look like this. Shireen, my makeup artist, I celebrate you because look at how I'm looking. I'm able to speak with confidence because I've forgotten about myself and I can concentrate on this conversation. All these women leaders, the ones who are able to stand on a world stage, they are able to look good because, you know, these creative women. I want to celebrate even women friendships. You know, these are the things that go in. So with my bangles, I'm celebrating my girlfriends group. Chemtai gave this to me. There's Dorothy, there is Rita, and there's Phyllis, there's Samira. These are the women who tell me what Dr. C. Before you are Dr. C, we know you. Okay? They'll tell me, Dr. C, why are your lips dry like this today? And these are the things that are really propelling women to move to the front. With my dress, I'm celebrating the generations of women gone ahead of me. I remember the one thing I bonded on with my mother was crocheting. At age 8, I could crochet a full dress. And therefore, I'm honoring those women.
Okay.
All right, Maria.
Wow.
Go ahead.
I'll keep it short. So I would like to say, first of all, the times have changed to when women were on the same level. Right now, the confidence to pursue anything is there. Like, women right now can take on anything. And it wouldn't have been possible if we did not have people to help us actually do that. Because let's face it, I as Maria, right now I'm here, there's someone somewhere with my children. And that's what has helped me to be in this place at this time. I as Maria, for me to sit here, there's someone who actually made it possible for me to focus on this place, to focus on Let's Be Real show, because I have gotten help from other women. I would like to celebrate every woman who helps other women, because let's face it, we don't thank our nannies enough, because children, as much as we parent, we need someone to hold those children for us. And today I would actually, my special celebration goes to that girl who takes care of my children in my absence. Finding them safe and okay, that means a lot. And that comes from her heart. And seeing my children love her, play with her, makes me feel good. The other people that I would like to celebrate, they're not celebrated enough, is the women who actually parent my children from Monday to Friday, who are called the teachers of my children. Like these women, they've been taking care, educating them, loving them. It's like they are parenting them in my absence, but also adding knowledge in their heads. Those women have been, especially the one that took in my tiny babies, like right now, I can say that my child is adapting well, even in my absence. That means a lot. I'm celebrating the teachers of my children. Anyone who's taught my child, I love them. Miss Pamela, Miss Jacqueline, Miss Beria, and Miss Fiona, they have been best women in my life. I'm celebrating my mom. She dresses me till now. That's a good thing. She's an amazing woman. Till today, I'm married in my home, but my mom dresses me, actually. I'm also celebrating my mother-in-law. She raised a good boy, and she loves me. She's accepted me. I'm also celebrating any woman who's working hard every single day to provide for their homes in the absence of a husband. that is a huge role you're playing. Parenting and providing at the same time, that's huge. And also, okay, we will not forget to say Shireen. She makes us beautiful every day in the show. And the producers of this show, who are ladies, they do a good job. That's a good thing. So I would like to celebrate women. Any woman on earth, you live, you are doing something in your life, just you are doing a good job.
Here's a little twist, though.
Yeah, of course.
Go ahead. Here's a little twist.
I was waiting for that.
Here's a little twist, though.
I was waiting for
All right. You know, you also need to learn, there are only some types of women that need to be celebrated on International Women's Day. And these are some characteristics of women that actually deserve to be actually celebrated, or those women who actually praise other women behind their backs. Because you know what it is, the commonality is, it requires you to actually have strength to praise your fellow women behind their very backs. Because you know how many of ladies who actually talk bad even behind other women's back. And one type of women that always even gets neglected on this praising the independent women world that we live in, it's the woman behind a great man. Do you know what I mean by that? A woman behind a great man knows how to move with the elegance of royalty. She doesn't need to shout with the loudness of a hooligan. She actually knows how to move with grace. She actually knows the words to say so she can actually now fuel that man to become the great man that he can actually be. That woman at all in this society is looked down upon as if she is oppressed. No, she is moving with elegant power that is not shouting, that today's society praises that they see in the quote-unquote independent woman. That woman is often not praised because they're going against the counter narrative of what even women used to be even back in the day. They used to, that was going extremely opposite. That's the kind of woman, that characteristic is what often is neglected and diminished and not actually praised. That is actually true strength because she's walking in her power, not trying to take someone else's space.
Thank you for celebrating me, Simon.
So,
you wish.
Before we move into the next topic, I would say that African women have come a long way. African women in those 30 years, and if you read African literature, for example, you'll find the positioning of African women was in the kitchen, was somewhere backward, but in the last 15 years, there's a lot of progress, though there's a lot of challenges for African women. We celebrate African women, and one of the things I always say is that I'm a heavy reader of literature, by the way, so there are 3 books which every woman should read. Chichi Emecheta of Nigeria, Nervous Condition. Busi Simarubenga of Zimbabwe, Joys of Motherhood. Miriam Abba of Senegal, So Long a Letter. These 3 books talk about the conditions of women in Africa before. And if you go to India, there's a novelist, Arundhati Joy, who wrote God of Small Things. They really describe the positioning of women and where women should be. So we believe that if we take care of our women, if we support our women and give them the financial backing, we allow them to go to school, because that was what was lacking, and give them an ability to create their own wealth, then the world will be in a better place.
That's true. That is actually very true.
Yeah, so before we, as you're pouring, before we depart from that topic, actually I would like to celebrate all the soccer moms.
Soccer moms?
Yes.
Okay, why?
You know, the women standing on the side of the pitch
Yeah.
during sports day and cheering on their children. Let me tell you, not say what you want to say.
It's okay, fine.
You know, some people in today's world may see it as a privilege. I don't actually really see it as a privilege. It really, there's so many things you have to give up on. For the first, let me just say, the formative years, up to maybe age 14, but you never really give up. You know, those mothers who are standing there, cheering and cheering, even the children are saying, "Oh, mommy, we can't even hear you." They're inside the pool, or they're even a rugby, whatever it is they're playing. Because these people, later on, when you talk to a lot of children, they say that, you know, when I'm in a leadership position and I'm trying to make a decision, I can hear my mama's voice cheering me on. And that time when even I'm scared, I actually make the decision. I choose to make the tough decision that I choose to make. Why is this important?
Because you make it short, because you're going to the next topic.
Oh, we are going to the next topic, but it's about women, yeah? I'm just saying it takes sacrifice, really a lot of sacrifice. And I am celebrating you, all the soccer moms.
Okay.
Yes. Now, moving on.
Yes.
I think we should have dedicated the whole time. But moving on.
Yes.
We are talking about patients in one of the hospitals in Kenya who may have been exposed to expired TB, HIV drugs. And this is according to
the report, the
Kenya, Nakuru, yeah.
KNBS report.
Yeah, Kenya National Bureau of Standards.
Yeah,
According to
KNBS.
the Kenya Bureau of Standards, yeah, some patients may have been exposed. Now, I will start because I'm the scientist in this team.
Go ahead.
You know, Kenya Bureau of Standards must report everything they need to report. Even though sometimes I find some of their reports could be alarmist. And it makes them sound almost toothless. Because where were they when these things, even though maybe they are toothless and they need us to know, this is what I have to say as far as pharmaceutical drugs are concerned. Yes, there's an expiry period. And 3 months before drugs expire, you need to list them and you actually need to remove them off the shelf. But depending on the conditions, some drugs actually never expire. And there is a period between 3 to 6 months when some drugs could still be used. So I'm just wondering, in this particular report, if, because they were not specific on which, in terms of for how long and why. So if you are a doctor, knowing very well there is no other medication to actually give to these patients, and what you have is a HIV drug that expired years, maybe a month ago or 3 months ago, and there's this patient, if you don't give them, this is all you've got. Should you experiment or should you not experiment by giving them? The same, these are very severe diseases like TB. TB is a very, by the way, the government is very, the protocol, the treatment protocol, a lot of the hospitals are very serious that treat the TB. They follow you. And if you don't go for medication, you can be arrested. Did you know that? They literally track you with your phone. They send you messages. Come for medication. If you don't go, you're arrested. HIV is a bit different because TB can be transmitted by, it's a public health risk. So yes, it's important we have these this kind of reports, and thank you for Kenya Bureau of Standards for reporting this, but some of these reports make them toothless. Make us perceive them as toothless. Yeah, where were they? Do they not have registers for the government hospital? People should be arrested. Who has been arrested?
Interesting.
Maria?
Sugar to all these things.
The irony of this is that the government hospitals lack medicine most of the times, and now we are hearing that the government hospitals have expired medicine. I don't understand why. But this is what I always say. When it comes to Kenya Bureau of Standards, they always report things when they are... We feel like, why are you reporting when in real sense you are supposed to inspect and investigate? And in this case, when it comes to medicine, you know when the medicine went there because you checked it before it was placed in that hospital. Now, it means that you are so blind to realize that there was restock or there was no restock, or the medicine that you supplied a while ago, where is it? I feel like there is need for in-depth checking when it comes to things like medicine, because that is serious. But then again, it's a government hospital. I would expect that in a government hospital, things like this are a bit thorough, because for them, they have the luxury of resources, and also by the virtue that they are supposed to be the ones taking care of those who cannot afford health in private, they should actually be very critical when it comes to the things they offer, so that at least these things are not supposed to be in the news. It's a shame for our country in the first place.
Simon.
And I will ask, who was arrested too?
Simon.
You know, I'll just say this. The government of Kenya, they're worse drug dealers than illegal drug dealers. And here's what I mean by that. Because when it comes to now delivering drugs, usually even illegal drug dealers, they even make sure that you delivered on time. They make sure even there's the right quality. And they know very fact that they don't give you expired produce because they want you to come back again. And now when it comes to the government, they don't care. They just give you even expired produce. And sometimes they may tell you that indeed they don't even have the very thing that you're in the pursuit of, because they want to take advantage of the fact that they are the monopoly of legal drug, distribution. Sometimes when it comes to things, even they recognize that you're at their mercy. So even recognizing this is that literally I just view it like the Kenyan government is literally just a very bad drug dealer. That is all how I view it. That is basically how I view it. See you.
You see, first of all, let me congratulate Kenya Bureau of Standards because of one thing. They are our last line of defense. Them and the controller of budget, Nancy, last line of defense. The lady of SRC, last line of defense. Because they are standing up for Kenyans. They are telling us the mess in this country. This country has gone to the dogs a long time ago. Yeah. That if you do not have the last line of defense, even those patients would have taken those medicine without anyone knowing that there was, first of all, expired medicine. If the issue of SHA and SHIF, there's no this lady called Nancy Gadongo, then we would have not known how Kenyans are being robbed of that facility. So there are few Kenyans who are standing in the gap when the country is actually going haywire. And this is what we are saying, that of course they should have done more or done better. But they have told us in Nakuru, people are being given expired drugs. So the question is, who dispensed the drugs? Yeah. So we have to go back and ask ourselves, when did they come? Where is the Ministry of Health not dealing with the people who are dispensing these drugs? Why we are not seeing people being arrested on the issue of giving patients expired drugs? Number two, how do we store our drugs? We know KEMSA has a monopoly of distribution of drugs to all the public hospitals. These public hospitals do not procure medicine unless they come from KEMSA. So the KEMSA board should be telling us, did they actually supply? Or did they sell? Or did they oversupply the drugs? So these are issues which are very important for us. But what I'm saying is that we must have, in this country now, we must have very few people who are our last line of defense. If we do not have that last line of defense, I'm telling you, the country will go to the dogs.
So there is, now that you say that, there is the laws are there actually, Cap 244 of the laws of Kenya, how the control and use of pharmaceutical medications. So there is the Pharmaceutical Board of Kenya that is meant to be doing the inspections. They're supposed to be doing the inspections, and it's illegal. The laws are very clear on how to store and dispose of expired drugs. And there's who can handle, who should not handle the drugs. So I think so that the board, the Pharmaceutical Board of Kenya now comes into the limelight. They also need to be telling us, like, what went on, where their inspection officers, because they usually inspect. We often see they inspect whether you are licensed or not licensed. We have very strict laws that govern the use, storage, and disposal of medicine.
I agree with what both of you have said. But one key thing is always the shoulds and the procedures and all that. We have them all in Kenya. We have all that. But practicality. Oh,
in Kenya, we don't
take us to a break.
Hey, we need to go on a break. On that note, I will take some Samantha's wine real quickly because we'll see you.
As we go for the break, viewers out there, please send your messages of International Women's Day to us and to the public.
Yeah, it's the whole month. So just because the day ended, we are still celebrating. The whole month we're celebrating women.
Welcome back, and of course, being an International Women's Day, let's cheer to all the women who are doing great things in the world and in Africa.
Cheers to you.
Cheers.
The intellectual women,
Yes.
the women creating wealth,
Yes.
And also the women of
married
character.
women,
Yes, married.
Even the unmarried ones.
even side chicks.
Yes.
Ah, no, we are not cheering to that.
Yes. Side chicks
Well,
are very key.
they have what they bring.
What? Taking care of our husband in our absent? Cheers.
But go ahead, tell us more.
Some women, you know what? No, even before we begin, honestly, let's talk about that. I saw this very interesting, somebody had posted, how she was really thanking her husband's side chick. Because had it not been for that side chick,
Yes.
she would still be in this bad marriage. In this, how this side chick chanuared her. So she's, you know, women, they say we are always each other's enemies. But really, truly, from far we may look like we are fighting, but really, truly, we are friends.
Okay.
Yeah, we are friends actually.
Yes.
Maria, go ahead.
On the topic of women and the fact that marriages do end actually, statistically, there was 38% in 2018 of single parenthood. And it's projected to get to, in the last census actually, the last census, not 2018, the last census. When was the last census?
When was the last census?
2019.
2019.
Yeah.
Yes, the statistics show that there was 38% of single parenting. But right now, it's projected to be up to 50% in 2025. That's huge. That means a lot of breaking marriages. And this actually comes with a lot of young youths are not raised by both parents. And because of that, some even try to look for their parents, but to no success. And this is also alarming to say that in the near future, adults will be choosing to co-parent rather than live in a two-parent household or actually in marriage. What do you think about that?
Not in the future. Right now.
Right?
Why are we thinking in the future? It's right now.
This report, could you expound a little bit more on this report?
The census say that single parents, people who are raising children, mother alone, like I'm a single mom, it was up to 38%.
In Kenya?
The
In
numbers,
Kenya,
yeah.
yes, in Kenya.
So these are accurate figures.
Yes.
In census, it's census, so it's accurate. But now in 2025, it's the projection now that it could reach to 50%.
That is true. And that is actually
And women are the ones taking up most of this burden.
Yes,
now
women.
that we are celebrating women.
Yeah, because it's really hard for a man to say that I'm a single father, bring the children, go, hi mom, bye. It's really hard.
Why is someone looking at you guys?
No, I'm just realizing in the fact that, like, why are you guys even shocked? Like, close your mouth. This is, of course, we're in the very individualistic society. Yeah. This is the truth that what's happening in today's society is that is the reality core ground. What's happening is a lot of single parents is there. Why even you see a lot of single parents is because, one, when it comes to the whole narrative of independent women, what happens is now the women now prioritize economics over building a foundation household. And then when you flip it to the man, now when the man side of things is he chooses not to engage further into building a family, he chooses to now focus on his own finances and prolong and delay marriage. The priority of family is not there. And even family households. Families nowadays are not pressuring their sons to get married very fast. Families nowadays are not pressuring their daughters to get married very fast. It's not that big of a priority. They're saying push it further down the line, but you yourself do this, that's for you, so you can actually have a financial security. Because you view what? Marriage is indeed, we're viewing it in this way because of very individual society right now. Kenya is very westernized. The main thing is when we act, because we're very westernized, we view ourselves very individually. When we view ourselves very individually, we don't view ourselves anymore as a community as we used to back in the day. So that's the main thing.
So Simon, I think what Maria needed also to say is that when the rise of very many single families has seen many kids going to look for their parents, Last week, there was a man of 30 years who went back to Kakamega to look for, in Malava, to look for the father. The mother and the father separated when the mother was 6 months pregnant. So many kids also who are being raised by these single families are trying now to go back.
Oh, the kids now are trying to go back and look for their
and
parents.
look for their parents. You are going to look for your father. And there's a big gap in between on raising these kids, because when they're young, they're being raised well, the woman takes care. Then they reach 20, they start asking you, Daddy, so where is my father? Can I go meet my father?
And
all
they
that.
rudely
It
do
becomes
that.
a lot of problems.
You're saying rudely. Why did you say rudely? Why did you say rudely?
Some of them don't ask for their fathers out of the goodness of their heart. They just want to provoke their moms.
Wait, pause. Why would you know? Why would you even say
And I
that?
tell
Why would
you
say
see,
that
when
child
you
is
start,
rude?
these children, when they are teenagers, that's when you start correcting their behaviors.
Yeah.
That is when they start telling you, where is my father? Who is my father? Most of those children act like that.
And now whose problem is that? Isn't that the mom's problem for not even actually now informing that they have a father, and indeed that they should not? Even if it comes from a place of spite, why is that lack of information not there to the child, so they can actually know that indeed I do have a father somewhere, and here's the reason why. And if the child brings it up as spite, that means that's information that you as a mother withheld from the child. So you have actually already done something wrong in the first place. So if it backfires on you, shitako.
Imagine if your father rejects you at a very tiny age.
Yeah.
Rejects you and the mom. Like you see, people what uruka mimba every day. Like it's not mine.
Yeah.
Now, me as Maria, I'm not gonna be looking for you if you said it's not your child. I'm not gonna be looking for you.
You should and legally enforce it. You should look for that man because that is your seed, which will grow into a whole adult man or woman who is going to be asking you. So legally, for as long as, like, it's not up to you to look or not to look. It's not up to the man to refuse. The laws are there to enforce. You're the father, you're the mother. So it's not up to you. So, see, the thing is, a lot of women make it up to them. Or a lot of men make it up to them. Like, you know what, my wife has refused, I'm taking my child, traditionally I'm keeping, or no. It's that child's, it's a human right.
But you see, the problem is for us, someone like you, Dr. C, will say, legally, I will do that. There are people who do not have that power to do that. Because first thing is, where is the DNA? And if you go to if you see this person, you're struggling to feed this child, how are you going to get a DNA to get a man to accept responsibilities?
You see, it's not about accepting. It's about telling your child, that is your father.
That's it.
Whether or not he accepts,
That's it.
that's it.
Straight up.
And that's why we are going to therapy, because these children are going to be rejected by their fathers and they are going to come crying.
So anyway, you know what? First of all, there's a discrepancy in these. I'm just thinking 38% of households being single and most of them being led by women. I'm just thinking, the Kenyan men have just chosen to misbehave. This thing is not about even the women.
But you've allowed them
because
to
this
cheat.
is 38% of the men. So so 38%, so we have a group of 100 women, 100 men.
Yeah.
The population, which may not be, even if it's skewed, it's not too skewed like that. So where is the 38% of the men? They're jumping from one woman to another, to another, to another, and making this nation single?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. When you assume...
I think what has happened is that due to changes of education and all that, many women nowadays do not take that, they're not the housewives anymore. And there's a lot of challenges. So men and women, they have reached a position where most of the women who are in that 38%, most of the women who are single households are women of means, because they can support themselves, they're career women and all that. But traditionally, if you look at that, at the statistics, traditionally in the rural areas, women are still married as usual. They are not getting out of marriages. This research, or the numbers, are on cosmopolitan areas. Nairobi leading, Kisumu, Kakamega, urban centers where people are mingling and people cannot stay in those conditions. And that's why you have those single families.
So meaning, I'm just seeing either an NGO or a business idea here, Somebody needs to start a school to teach men on how to deal with women of means, empowered women.
Yes.
I think, honestly, we
here's the
need
thing.
a school like that because men need to learn. And it's just about learning and just getting that paradigm shift. That actually you can deal with strong, empowered women.
I don't like that. I don't know. I don't like that assumption at all. Do you know why? I don't like that assumption at all.
It's not an assumption.
No. Here's the reason. That premise comes from the fact that indeed men indeed are the only wrongdoers in this picture, and you're assuming that a relationship does not involve two people, and you're also assuming always consistently that indeed just because the woman is empowered, she's making the right decisions. That is a falsehood. That is a lie. And in fact, now what you also have realized is this: when you learn even what you not necessarily teach men how to conform to women, that is not the way. I teach men how to conform to women. That is not how you know. No. I teach men how to now deal with empowered women. No, teach people how to make adjustments based on the different dynamics that have changed in society. Not always.
But the dynamic is the dynamic.
There's two things that have happened. You've forgotten there's two things. Not only has the women got more money, but also men have also lost even their credibility within the family and the household.
But this
that
men
is the
are
truth.
No,
it is now more common to call people deadbeat fathers, and it's even common even praise that.
If you're deadbeat, you're deadbeat. How do you want to be called?
And then now it should also be praised.
Problem,
it should also be praised. It should also be stated indeed when a woman lacks the ability and the character and the tact to be anything more than just a giver of money within a household. That is not something that should only be praised. And a lack of ability and tact to actually even hold a household together like your mother used to do. That is also
hold on.
Over here telling men that indeed
hold on.
School because you need to learn them to conform to women. Maria,
What
are you trying to say?
Okay, guys.
Let me say something. I want to say something. I want to say something.
Okay, calm down,
Now
guys.
let me say something. This is what I have to say. You see, on this same show, we were here saying that polygamy is good, right? Now this
not polygamy is good. Polygamy can be done.
Polygamy can be done.
Yeah.
Now imagine Nairobi people are not doing the polygamy. They are cheating. These empowered women have refused to live with a man who does not stay in one household.
Women cheat also. You're saying as if women don't cheat.
Even
they cheat more.
Even
they cheat more. I would even say women cheat more because they know statistics.
Cheat more than men.
Yes. And even they lie more.
But this is the point.
They just do it better. That's all.
If we could embrace marriages being a monogamy, people staying together to raise families. Yeah. Because in this case, now we are not looking at children will have single parents. We are looking at there will be no marriage in the next few years. That's what we are looking at. So right now we should be talking more about how do we uphold families. That is the first thing we should. Because you're not going back to the times whereby women were housewives. That one, personally, I know I cannot go there. We are not going there. And we are not going back to the point whereby we are saying that men are natural cheats. No, right now we are supposed to see how do we uphold families for them to be able to stay together and raise families.
In this society.
In this society.
That is how it should, in this society. That's right.
But we are also talking the fact that partners are working out. So I think so that, yes, I may have talked about teaching men, and I think they're the ones who need to be taught, because any woman who wants to stay in a family setup will stay in a family setup. But the problem always comes when a man feels they cannot. So I think so that women, and there are enough places where women can learn. You know, women, we have a lot of resources where you can learn how to deal. But how should it beyond anyway? How to deal when you have more money than your men, but also men how to deal with empowered women. That's what we need to teach.
So what we tell guys is that it's very simple. The society has changed. We have to accept it.
Yeah.
The younger generation, some of them do not value marriage as a must.
Yeah,
and we have to accept it also. So going forward, we'll have more numbers of people, either single mothers or single fathers. I know young men who are saying, and to live with a woman is not very easy.
Yeah. Just like living with a man.
Yeah, it's not easy.
It's not living easy with
anybody. It's not very
anybody.
easy. So sometimes for men, and I always tell men who feel that you cannot stay with a woman, please step out. Go get your space. If you are not getting peace in that house, you should not die in that house.
Yeah.
What do you tell women?
You're not dying. Try and adjust.
What do you tell women? Let him tell women. What do you tell women, CEO?
Women?
Yes.
Stick to your marriages.
You see? You see how unfair it is? No.
Ah.
Even women should do the same.
This is the point when
You drink and drink.
Yeah,
Simon,
but
give us the next one.
but now even in this, there's actually very many modern problems. But when but it's just a punchline to that one. The main thing I would even want to say is this: in a changing society, never point on only one specific sphere of society to only conform to someone else, because that only now makes it seem that because in dynamics change, there's some misbehaviors have changed on both sides.
Yeah.
That's usually what happens. Now, when it comes to now things changing, let me tell you one thing that's always been consistent. Kenyans, we at times we do the weirdest version of racism on ourselves. And let me tell you what happens is this. This is more of a middle class and upper class problems, but come. Let me teach you a few things here too. So what's going on is this. In a lot of these international schools, there's one student came out and then started saying that indeed guys in that international school, they want to only date even the mixed race girls, or they only want to date even the white girls. And at the same time, when they are in these international schools that you may be seeing in Kenya, a lot of times, a lot of the kids there, they don't want to speak Swahili. They don't want to even speak Swahili amongst themselves because they view it as a lesser than sort of thing. And one thing I would even want to even just state this when it comes to this dynamic is, even I've experienced this even myself, even when I was living in the States, is that when it comes to Kenyans, we're very quick to conform in every new society that we're in. And the reason is because we don't have a strong sense of ourselves as Kenyans. We don't have that formidableness. Point of example, when Nigerians come here and they stay here, you don't hear them change into a Kenyan accent. But when a Kenyan goes there and they stay there for a while, a Kenyan can and actually will conform to the Nigerians. Notice I'm using Nigeria, not even using outside even Africa. I'm just staying within Africa. It's saying even, they'll actually even conform and change within their dynamic. We don't have a strong sense of self as Kenyans. We don't have an ego, even about ourselves, even about even how we even move, because we associate ourselves and the way we speak and the way we move as poverty. And hence, a lot of times, we want to distance ourselves from that. And how do even we see that? We see that even based on how we treat other people. How do white people get treated here versus the normal fellow Kenyan? A Kenyan would treat a white person or even someone with a foreign accent sounding like me here will actually even be treated better than a normal Kenyeji person speaking their normal local dialect. And that is a fact. When umekuja hapo kwa nini, that's even your guard will even treat you at the gate. With that essence, we actually now we move that way in various spheres. And this is translated on the international scenes in its international schools. Maria.
International schools, wow. Okay, let me start by saying what you've said is very true. I have been somewhere whereby I saw a white person smoke and they were not asked. Then a Kenyan comes and then he's told, according to management, read the rules, you're not supposed to do that. It felt like we colonize ourselves. Years later, we don't respect ourselves. And Kenya has the best of cultures. Like, we should make people conform to us, what we do, who we are. Allow people to know. If you go somewhere and you see white people, if you are a Kisii, introduce them to how matoke is made. I wish I knew. So this is the point. You find that most of the time, they don't force us to do it. They don't. And it's true. 1 week in US and the accent has totally changed. They don't force us to do it. We actually tell ourselves to do it. We actually make ourselves do it. And because of that, what you give power to has power over you. That is why when you've shown them that, oh, you guys have power, now they come and make us feel inferior. But let me tell you something. You are not going to their land and you don't see them treat you as if you are more special than their people. No, they won't. But you, in your own land, you treat them that you are very special. And now in matters of school, that is true because you find that the special treatment that if it starts from up there, like, you know, if the management will show you that, oh, this one and this one can get away with this one, but this one cannot get away with that one, that is where it starts from. We should learn to, if we are talking about equality among Kenyans, can that equality be extended to anyone who is in our land? Because if this is our land, this is what we do, you conform to it, and you will see difference in this country. Because let's not colonize ourselves. They are not colonizing us anymore. We are colonizing ourselves. Stand firm and be proud of who you are. Speak Swahili. But let's face it, even right now, we have people who speak, they've never left the country, but they speak pure language that is from outside. You'll think that they've been there. It's because we don't appreciate who we are. And when it comes to teaching, in international schools, they have the foreign language. They don't teach Swahili in those schools. And that is...
They don't?
They don't.
Even as an option.
It should be Spanish, Germany, Italy. So those are the languages.
And then Swahili, even outside Kenya, even in the States, even Swahili is even offered even as a language of option.
Good. But you know what? When you see the compulsories in those international schools, the foreign language cannot be Swahili. So that's also wrong. They should be like, if you are in Kenya, the foreign language you're learning is this one, so that we can be fair.
Which schools are you talking about? Anyway,
That is the truth.
So I saw, first of all, my daughter is in an international school, and we learn Swahili.
Compulsory.
No compulsory.
Well,
of
it's
course.
not compulsory,
compulsory.
but you know, the thing is this. Some of these international schools were created for the nationals of the particular school to take their children. Okay?
Expats.
So you will find that Swahili, yes, is offered as an option, but some students, perhaps they are here for a very short time, and yeah, we should make it compulsory anyway.
Yeah.
So you find like certain, let me not name any nations, but you'll find those people, like they have a lot of expatriates here, and they want to stick to their education system.
Yeah.
So, and it just so happens that because they're in Kenya, they open their doors to other nationalities, okay? I cannot, I know the particular video you're referring to. There was a young, you didn't give the background properly. There's this young child, I think she's in her teenage or early 20s, who came out to say that she went through the international school system.
She still is in.
She still is, and she said that in that school, she was really reminded of the fact that she's black, she's African, and so she felt this racism. I cannot comment on that. That was her particular situation. There have been rumors, but I can comment on her points. She's, and I found it so intelligent in the sense that most of the people who can actually afford to take their children to international schools happen to be very top business people and top politicians, people of means. An average school, on average, any international school, the school fees, maybe from starting to say maybe high school, you're parting with almost per year, with almost round about per child, almost 7-6 million depending on the grade. It's going up and up and up, yeah? So it means it's not a poor man's space. But what worried her, and I thought, is the fact that these are the people who will have means to head some of the organizations. You know, to inherit some of the businesses, to become the top lawyers because they can access almost anywhere. Networks. Yeah, they are the ones who will sit and negotiate for us. Like when you look at some of the top business people, there are very few people who rise from nothing to just, when you look at them. And it worried her because these are the same people, if they are politicians' children and they are being exposed to this kind of treatment, and you're trying to almost deny your Kenyanism or your Africanism, what kind of leaders are we going to have? These are the people who are going to sell away, to sell out our country.
True.
And this is why, if there is any school where this thing is going on, I don't know of any, it needs to be called out. If something like that is happening, must be called out and stopped. Because that is the real consequence, that you are then going to have leaders who will perpetuate and perpetuate and perpetuate. But one thing has to be said, that colonialism was real. The fact that our traditions we were stripped of, our religions made to look like they belong to the devil and a new religion introduced. All our other traditions, our medicines, everything, including our music and everything, we are just maybe the first generation that is coming into ourselves, and it's going to take generations and hard work to decolonize our minds.
That's true.
So, first of all, I would say that, first of all, I congratulate that lady for stepping up and saying what she has to say. Because number one is that the schools, these international schools, are propagated to sell an education system which makes Africans feel like they are slaves. And you remember, when we are colonized through education and religion. Two big things. That the education system was created to make Africans to be servants throughout their lives. So we did not have a system of education where you are creating people to be investors. And if you look at our education system, most of it is that when you graduate, you want to look for a job. You want to look for a job for a company, because we are put in that space. And now these international schools have perfected it now. They invite the top-notch
Caliber
of people,
students.
but they do not teach them African history and African religion.
My daughter learns African history.
Wait, which school?
I won't name it,
Yeah.
but actually they teach African history.
But
But
most of
even
those
though
schools-
if you
Most
go,
of them
if
don't.
you go, if you go say
Dr.
to
C, most of these schools, and for a fact, it might be the only school. We know so many international schools, and we've been there as journalists. They do not teach African history. Most of them, they teach American history,
British.
the European history, and I'm telling you for a fact.
Even the topic of money, they use
And
dollars,
they
not cash.
teach you the Eurocentric religion. And that's why we have a problem with. And that's why this girl is saying she feels demeaned. She feels that she cannot speak Swahili. Because when you speak Swahili, you feel like a slave.
Even
You
the fellow
feel-
Kenyans there.
Yeah, the Kenyans there, they do not feel, you do not want to feel like an African.
Yeah.
Because the people look at you and they wonder, so this one. So if you are colored or you are mixed parentage, you have, there's a caliber. Straight away.
that must be a very bad school.
Yeah.
Because some of the schools that I actually know, in all fairness, yeah, and we really must be fair.
We are very fair.
Yes, there's been rumors of certain schools.
Yeah.
I know for a lot of schools, they really advocate for diversity. It's a very, very important thing there. They have very strong, like, you can imagine somebody like Dr. C. I mean, I would really speak up. And there are many parents in some of those international schools you're talking about, big industrialists, and they would speak up.
I get
So
you.
this is a very specific situation.
But-
I'm not demeaning what she has said, yeah? But if that was really happening, people would actually speak up. And I know for sure that some things may seem like so. Like I said, if you go to a Chinese school, you are going to know who Mao Zedong was. You are going to know. You will not walk out of that school without knowing.
Here's
What
the
we are
thing.
saying,
Even-
what we are saying before Simon takes, we are saying we will want to know what Mao Zedong is, but I would want to know
And
who Jomo
Confucius.
Kenyatta is.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
And I would like to know when Kenya got independence. And I would like to know the freedom fighters in Kenya as well. Let's meet next week.
Sure thing.
Let's be real.
Cheers, Samantha Wines. Don't forget, build Kenya,
But
buy Kenya.
That is a fact.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
We stand on a world stage and we say we are Kenyan. Tunakanyaga nchi yetu kwa nguvu na raha.
okay.
Samantha Wines, now available in all the leading wine stores.